everybody, today we're going to learn how to take the volume of a rectangular prism. Now, in order to do that, we need to know what a rectangular prism is. So the first word, rectangular, lets you know that the base is a rectangle. Okay, so the base is going to be a rectangle. And don't forget, squares are also rectangles. Okay, a square is a rectangle, and a rectangle, of course, is a rectangle. In order to be a rectangle, you have to have 4 corners that are 90 degrees each. And you have to have 2 sets of parallel lines, and both of these have that. So these are both rectangles. Okay, a prism lets you know that there are 2 identical bases. I'm going to run off this side. Oops, let me move that over a little bit. Hold on. 2 identical bases. Okay, so let's try and find the volume of a rectangular prism. Okay, I'm going to draw one. All right, there's the top base, that's a rectangle. And then on the bottom, I'm going to draw an identical base. Okay, so it has 2 bases, and then I'm going to connect them. This goes to that side, this goes to that side, this goes in the front, and this goes in the back. Okay, and this is a prism because it has a top and a bottom that are identical, and they are both rectangles. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find the volume. We've already talked about surface area. The surface area is if you were to take this figure, this 3D object, and dip it into chocolate, surface area would be how much chocolate would it cover? How much chocolate would cover this object? Okay. Today we're talking about volume, and volume is different because volume is like if you were to open this up and pour chocolate inside, that's how much is on the inside. Okay, so let's look at how we're going to do this. Here is the length, the width, and the height. Okay, this is how long it is, how wide it is, and these are interchangeable. You can move those around, and this is the height. Okay, so I'm going to say the length is 4 meters, the width is 2 meters, and let's say the height is 6 meters. Now this is not drawn to scale, but we're going to, pretend it is. All right. The formula, we've been dealing a lot with area, and let me get a little piece of paper. A lot of times when we talk about area, we've done a lot of area equals base times height. Okay, area equals base times height. We've done a lot of that. Instead of length times width, we're using base times height because we can use that for almost anything we have. This is the formula for squares, rectangles, and if we just cut it in half, we get a triangle. And if we do this, instead of 1 base, we have 2 bases. So we add these bases together. That is for a trapezoid. So this is just 2 bases times height divided by 2. So we have the triangle, we have the trapezoid. We have a lot of different figures. Let me get that real quick. All right. So I want to try and stay with the whole base times height. Let's see if we can do that. It's a little bit easier to remember. When I was young, I learned volume equals length times width times height. I'm having problems with my Zoom. All right, so volume equals length times width times height. And I always had a hard time remembering all of the different formulas. Well, here's the very cool thing. Let's look at this. Length times width. That's almost like base times height, like what we've been doing. And let's look down here. Length times width, or base times the height of just this rectangle. Okay, so here's the new formula that we're going to use. Volume equals, instead of length times width, we're just going to find the area of this bottom base. And I'm going to call it a big B. Okay, so the way to find the volume, how much chocolate is on the inside, is you're going to find the area of the bottom big base. And you're just going to see how tall is that base? How tall does it go up? How high does it go up? Okay, so this big B doesn't mean the little base, the length of this. It means the whole area of the base. So this is the area of the base. And it has to be capital B because that means that it's the area of the base. It's not just the length of one side. Okay, and again, these two formulas are very similar because length times width would get you the area of that bottom base. All right, so let's see if we can do this formula. Here we go. Volume equals big B times height. Okay, big B means the area of this bottom, which is length times width. So we're going to inside do 4 times 2. And right here, the height of the whole prism is 6. Okay, volume equals. Order of operations says we do parentheses first. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we're going to do parentheses first. 4 times 2 is 8. We're going to times that by 6. And we get volume equals 48. And that's it. So just take the area of the bottom base and see how tall it is. And you're done with the volume. Now you have to think about the unit. The unit is going to be meters. And this time we have 3 dimensions. We have length, width, and height. When you normally do area of like a rectangle, like a flat 2D shape, you just do length times width. So just be meter times meter. So your answer for area is squared. Well, here we have length times width, and we're timesing it by height. So we have a 3D object. Well, if it's a 3D object, we need to make sure that it is cubed. So when you find volume, it's going to have a cubed answer. And that's the end of that. Okay, we'll do one more example. All right, let me see if I can get on the paper this time. All right, let me draw another prism. So let's draw a long one. Okay, there's the top base. Let me get it in focus. All right, here's the bottom base. And it should be identical. It's kind of hard. I'm trying to draw it with the camera in my face. All right, and then we're going to connect the sides. Oops, that's not dotted, that's straight. All right. All right, this is gonna, and again, it's not gonna be to scale, but that's okay. This is gonna be 3 feet. This is gonna be 8 feet. And this is gonna be 10 feet. Okay, so we have our length, our width, and the height of our prism. And we know it's a prism because it has a top and a bottom that are identical. All right, let's try and find the volume. Again, the volume is like if this was a cereal box, it's how much cereal would fit inside of the box. Okay, because we're going to go inside to do volume. Volume equals length times width times height. We could do that,